Thank you very much, Mr. Chair, Senator Harman, and co-author of SB 1608. I don't really have a specific question for you, Senator Dutton. I have had the opportunity to speak to you about this before the weekend and this morning, and I appreciate the fact that you have brought to our attention that you do have people who I think are very well-meaning, who have serious concerns. But I just wanted to say that, and I know you know this, SB 1608, which was took effect in 2009, was the culmination of many, many years of work in the legislature by both Republican authors and Democratic authors who over the years had tried to craft legislation that would address this concern of business owners, and also at the very same time make sure that we protected accessibility. And I think what we find is we have a process that is workable. It's a little newer. It's a new process. We need to give it a little bit of time to work. And unfortunately, those cases that were brought prior to the bill, like the 2008 case that was referenced, unfortunately, it happened before the passage of this bill. Members on both sides of the aisle worked very closely together to craft this and bring trust back to both sides of the equation. And I think we came up with a very good product. And the bill 1608, of course, what it does is it allows for people to, when actions are brought, people have the opportunity to have an expedited process if they've availed themselves of a specialist who can help assist whether the ADA laws are being complied with. And business owners up and down the state supported this legislation, and I think it's a good product. Like I said, I'm glad you brought some people for us. I told you I'd listen very closely, and I hear the concerns, but I do think that it's extremely important that we allow Senate Bill 1608 to work. And in fact, I have heard from many that the legislation has been very helpful to folks. The expedited process allows for individuals to, sort of weed out those that are maybe bringing a frivolous lawsuit, but not those that have a legitimate concern. And my concern with this legislation too is it is overreaching, and we do have laws on the books that allow us to deal with vexatious litigants. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention. I know your your thoughts are in the right place advocating for your local community, but I'm sorry that I will not be able to support you on this matter today, and I think we should all do what we can to ensure that 1608 can continue to be a successful law on the books. Thanks.
Thank you, Senator Corbett. I was a co-author on 1608, and we did work on that for a couple of years, I think. I wished it would have gone a little bit farther when we enacted it, but it didn't. I understand why Senator Dutton is here today trying to put in a fix-it provision, basically, which I think would be fair. And I was a little surprised to hear the testimony from one of the witnesses, I think it was the one from National City, that said he had had an inspection, and did I hear that right? He had had an inspection and still got sued, and it basically didn't work for him. And then the other trouble that has developed since the passage of 1608 is that the federal courts have indicated they're not going to follow it because it's a procedural rule that the federal courts say they are not bound to follow the state's procedural rules. So it will become increasingly easy for attorneys to circumvent the provisions of 1608 simply by going across the street and filing in federal court rather than filing in state court. So I'd like to take another look at 1608 and see if we can try to address some of the shortcomings that we've heard about here today. And I've always been supportive of some type of a reasonable period of time given to a property owner to fix the alleged defective condition of their property. So I am supportive of your bill today, Senator Dutton, and with that having been said, I'll move the motion, or I'll move the bill for approval. Yes, Senator Corbett.
Mr. Chair, can I just make one last remark before you take that motion? And that is part of SB 1608 was to establish the California Commission on Disability Access, which, as you know, is made up of members from the business community, the disability community, and others very concerned about accessibility. And I would just encourage those that want to continue to work on this issue to also avail themselves of that commission that was set up precisely to monitor and see if the CAS program was working, and also to foster discussion on future legislation. So I think that's another opportunity for people to avail themselves of it, and I would just mention that. Thank you.
Good idea. Seeing no further comments or questions from the committee, the bill has been moved.